Good morning, everyone. How is everyone today? Yes? Isn't this a fun day? We need to thank Tim Smith for this wonderful weather. I just have to plug that in. Shameful plug, I know. First of all, let's welcome Mr. Andy Paris, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Paris. John Paris, that is. Well, you know, it's funny I said Andy Paris. I think he made me do it because John was telling me that this building was actually painted this color back in the day, and no one knew that those were his colors. So I think there was a bit of divine intervention. So I think that's fantastic. So your daddy made me say Andy just now. We'd like to welcome everyone to this fantastic dedication of this Texas historical marker and also a McAllen landmarker. It's actually both. Little did we know that Mr. Paris brought Bubblegum to the Rio Grande Valley. It's exciting to know that. I'm wondering if there's any pieces left, but I'm sure there's at least one left. Wow, at least just one left. But it's not my job to actually do the official welcome. Let's bring in our City Commissioner, Mr. Trey Pebley. He is our City Commissioner, District Number 2 for the Grand City of McAllen, Texas.
Good morning, everybody. It's a great pleasure for me to be here. John, appreciate all that you've done in this effort, you and your family, to bring this forward. I think it's very, very important that we remember our roots. We need to remember where we came from and carry that forward to our kids, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren. So thank you very much for all of your efforts. I want to take this time to introduce some special people that are here with us. First of all, I'm here on behalf of the mayor, Jim Darling, and the rest of the City Commission. Lucky to have Mayor Pro Tem Hilda Salinas here with us and Commissioner Veronica Vela-Whitaker. Thank y'all. From the Hidalgo County Historical Commission, we have the Chairman, Adela Ortega, here today, and the Vice Chairman, Glenn Housley. So thank you all for attending. From the McAllen Historic Preservation Council, we have the Chairman, Ann Tefel, here, Mary Lou Henry as the Vice Chairman, and Joe Averill Jr. as a member. Thank you all for attending. And from the city side, we have the Assistant City Manager, Mr. Brent Branham, in the cowboy hat back there. So thank you for attending. With that, I'd like to turn the program over to, and I'm sorry if I missed any other elected officials. I apologize, but I do want to recognize y'all if you're here, if y'all want to stand up and be recognized. And with that, I'd like to turn it over to Ann to say a few words.
Good morning, everyone. On behalf of the McAllen Historic Preservation Council, I'd just like to welcome all of you to this auspicious unveiling. For some of us that have been on the McAllen Historic Council, we have watched this grow as an idea on our part over the last couple of years. And finally, we are here at this moment to do the unveiling. And I want to also recognize members of the County Historic Commission that are here, because we have members on that commission that remember when this was a functioning bubblegum factory. And even though some of us are born here, natives of McAllen, we don't go quite that far back. And it's just wonderful that we can add this building to our growing body of buildings, locations that are being saved and passed on to future generations, to show that McAllen does have a rich historic heritage. In many places, McAllen would seem like a very young city and a young town, and we have so many people moving in from other places that don't have Valley roots or McAllen roots. It's hard to get people sometimes to stop and think that we go a long way back, and many historical things have occurred and have been here. And it's great to mark this one, and I am hoping with the program that you have, and John, I don't want to take away too much from your presentation, but there is going to be, or is a documented series coming out And I'm hoping this will be presented to our students, maybe in social studies, and get them to feel some pride in the community. So I know we're all hot and got to move on. So at this point, I would like to turn it over to Adela Ortega of the County Historic Commission. Thank you.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here to do the unveiling of this historic marker. We have over 160 markers throughout the Hidalgo County, and I'm very proud to introduce, I'm not going to introduce by individuals, our Hidalgo County Historic Commission that are present. Can you please stand? Because I don't do it alone. It's a team effort, and I thank you for being here with us also. John, this is a wonderful event today. It's an untold story that everybody will be knowing the story of this wonderful building and what happened way back then. I'm very proud to be here and in honor of the Hidalgo County Historic Commission, and I thank you for allowing us to do this for you and for the city of McAllen.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Ortega. And I'm with what Ann said. I mean, we should preserve all of our as many historical buildings as we can. I know there are reasons why, but I love when I just recently visited Boston, and of course, Boston's rich in history. I got to see Samuel Adams' grave. But it's wonderful when you visit a town and you see all these historical buildings, and I think maybe we should really, really work hard on preserving all these old buildings that we still do have. And I think it's wonderful that we're preserving this beautiful building. I think it's gorgeous. Well, I'm not going to reminisce anymore. I think we're going to bring up some reminiscences. I think we're going to have Leonel Garza III, the property manager. Leonel, where are you? Come on up and say a few words about this building, and in just a few minutes we're also going to bring up, of course, the man of the hour, Mr. John Paris.
Thank you. Hi, my name's Leonel Garza, and I'm here representing the owner, Mr. Sej Schwaib. He apologizes for not being here today. He's out of town on business. This started a few years ago when Javier Cervantes had contacted my office and with city staff to tell us about the possibility of putting this building as a historical marker. What was unique about it is that when the property was bought by Mr. Schwaib, we had no idea that there was history, that history was so rich in this property itself. When he was working on the development of plans of what to do with this property, he actually really enjoyed the way the front of the building looked and wanted to maintain it. And so he started working on some interior work, and then when Javier contacted us and we found out the rich history of it, we stopped everything that we were doing on the renovation and decided to go forward with the historical preservation of this building as something to be part of the city of McAllen. This city has grown so much in the last even 20, 30 years that to have someone from this community with the foresight to be a developer, as your father was one day, in business, and bring something in to corner the market in Bubblegum, who we would have never thought that would happen here in McAllen, and he did this back in the 1940s. And was able to do something that put McAllen on the map with Life magazine. And that's a rare thing to have, and the owner of the property really cherishes that and realizes that and wants to maintain that for the city of McAllen. The city of McAllen has done a wonderful job in the past few years and even the decades that we have to really preserve not only just buildings but also the development and to encourage businesses to come into the city of McAllen and for others to come to move to the city of McAllen. And this is just one more step in that direction. So I thank Mr. Pebley and the city commission and the mayor in helping us in allowing staff and also our preservation boards to look forward to looking for more buildings like this and other properties that we can really, really develop. Ala, I really appreciate everything that you've done on this property. She's really been the forefront in the last few months to get everything together and brought us all here today. And so I really thank you for everything you've done to represent the owner and Mr. Schwaib. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Garza. And of course now we're going to hear from the Paris Gum Factory heir, Mr. John Paris. It's such an honor. Come on up, John.
I want to thank everybody for coming out today. I'm not used to public speaking, so I think I'm going to begin with my thank yous here, just to get me started. This is my thank you list. Ramon Garcia, County Judge, A.C. Cuellar. Thank you to Hector Tito Palacios, Joe M. Flores, Joseph Palacios, Mayor Jim Darling, Hilda Salinas, Ida Ramirez, Scott Crane, Trey Pebley, John Ingram, Veronica Vela Whitaker, Mike Perez, Adela Ortega, Glenn Housley, Alicia De La Rosa, Diana Cantu, Ann Toffel, Mary Lou Henry, Alex Moreno, Rudy Molina, Joe Averill Jr., Dr. Barrera, Letty Garza. Okay, and I have another list here. Of course, I want to the McAllen Historic Preservation Council, Planning and Zoning Commission, Hidalgo County Historical Commission, Francis Isbell. And if I repeat any of these, please forgive me. Saeed Schwabe, Julie Rankin, and the Planning Department staff, Danny Hernandez, Carolina Terran, Ray Pedraza, Eduardo Mendoza, Mike Miranda, McAllen Heritage Museum, Jeff Alger, Javier Cervantes, Eric Trevino, Carolyn Nelson, Virginia Gauss, Texas Historical Commission, Sarah McCleskey, and Bob Brinkman. So, people are probably wondering how a bubblegum plant got here to McAllen. I mean, it starts with obviously my father, who was the son of Greek immigrants. And he started as a salesman at the age of 7 in Detroit selling newspapers. So he learned how to be a salesman at a very young age. And his dream was to become an ambassador. So when he was in high school, he took all kinds of languages. Greek was spoken in the home, and English, but mostly Greek. So he was already bilingual, and he started learning Spanish, Italian, French, and he really excelled at Spanish. And during World War II, the family business was not doing well. They couldn't find anything sweet to sell, so he took a train from Detroit and went down to Mexico City and used his Spanish to find something sweet, which basically saved the family's business. So when he decided to strike out on his own, he came down here to McAllen and opened an import business down on Main Street. He was importing gum that was being manufactured in Monterrey, Mexico, and he was doing quite well. And then, as the program states here, he ran into some kids on the street fighting over a piece of bubble gum. And the thing about it is that, and to fill in the holes really, the northern part of the United States wasn't doing any business commerce with Mexico in my father's field of confectionery, items. And because my father was able to speak Spanish, because he had made friends down there in Mexico, he saw them as his equal, and they respected that. And in 48 hours, he cornered the latex market for the entire Western Hemisphere. And then he decided to dump all the bubble gum he could and make all the kids of the world happy. Okay? And he couldn't have done it without the Mexican people. He had a lot of respect for them as they did for him. He's a person who saw no borders. He's a person who was engaging with people, with the Mexicans and with Latino culture here on this side of the border. It was important to him. They made him. And it means a lot to me today that he's being recognized. And I really appreciate everybody coming out here and all the hard work everybody's done. To a guy that I've been trying for the last few years to make sure is not forgotten. He was important. He was important to this city. He was important to this valley. Really, he was important to making kids happy. because those kids, one day, they wake up, and they're they're adults. So, with that being said, thanks to everybody for coming out. I really appreciate it.
Wow, that's just a big wow, John. That is fantastic. Another round of applause for John Paris. I mean, that is just amazing what he did and what an innovative man that he was. And he was a very, very special and very important man. I just have to throw this in, John, if you don't mind, but I didn't know that your dad actually taught Natalie Wood how to chew bubble gum for Miracle on 34th Street. Did you know? He did, and he also, I think he was deemed by, I think we all know this, that Life magazine deemed Paris as the bubblegum king of the world, hence his name, so.
Natalie Wood introduced him to Marilyn Monroe.
No way! Natalie Wood introduced him to Marilyn Monroe, and Mr. Paris and Marilyn went out for a whole month. And that's about Marilyn's time, isn't it? That's about right. I saw the movie. That's exactly. Well, I will say, I know why Marilyn was smitten with your daddy. Not only did he have just such a romantic name like Paris, but he was a good-looking man. Truly was. Truly was. Awesome. So that is very, very, very cool. All right. Before we end the program, I quickly want to say after we unveil the markers, we're going to go in and have some cake and some bubble gum. We are going to have bubble gum. We're going to see who can blow the biggest bubble. Is that okay? Yes, right on. Yeah. All right, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, and for the reading of the inscription, we're going to be going for the unveiling of the marker to which direction? Just to the very front of the building. We want to thank all of y'all so very much for coming out to this fantastic event where we honored the Bubble Gum King. Thank you, City of McAllen, and thank you, Channel 5, for letting me come out today, and thank you, Mr. John Paris. Goodbye.